So again, I roll out the slab, I cut it, and then I take the clay form and then I carefully mold it around the paper. All right. And one of the things that I've been coming around telling people is you've got to make sure you pay attention to the sides. That's going to be an issue later. So take the time to really make sure that the sides are folded in exactly how you want it. And sometimes to do that, you can take a stick or a paddle and kind of force it in there a little bit. It's a great way to kind of reinforce that. And then oftentimes you're going to find, oh, I got to cut a little bit more. What you don't want are creases. A lot of people are getting these creases that don't look good on the sides. So up here I have a potential for some creases. So if it's not short enough, I may have to cut that extra there. Okay, I definitely have to cut this extra. That's how I avoid my creases. Okay. Do this early on. This is the first day that I have my slab, is I'm messing around with sort of the form. Okay. All right, so when I make a mask, I generally start with the nose. The nose will ground the face. It doesn't matter if I'm doing a human face or an animal face, whatever it is, that nose is going to define things. If I'm doing a lion mask, then I'm going to need to create a muzzle. Probably my paper form is going to push out here. I'm going to have to really push that out right here, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get that to be three-dimensional. If I'm doing a human face, what happened to my human face is missing. Let me see here. I'll put it, oh, I know it. If I'm doing a human face, the nose protrudes out, and I want to think about sort of the form of the brow here. What do you guys prefer? You want me to do a human, or do you want me to do a cat? What would you like, you guys? Do a cat. Okay, I have that picture. All right. Well, a cat. All right, so I need the nose to pop out and the muzzle to pop out. So what I'm going to do is put a little piece of newspaper underneath to make that happen. So on the first day, when the clay is really, really soft, I can make modifications really easily. Okay? So I can take a little piece of paper like this, and I can pop it in there, and then I have something to build on, correct? All right. All right, so cat. I want to think of the roundness of a cat's face down here, create what we call the jowls. Right? Cat has little curved little parts. The best tool to do this is going to be my wood modeling tool. This guy. Okay. And I can start to build those right from the first day, okay? So I always think first day form. First day, what is three-dimensional? What has got a curve? What is the first thing I'm gonna do? Because if you don't do that, it's really hard to do it later as the clay starts to stiffen up. On a nose, I've got to define the nostrils, okay? So I've got to think about, I'm looking at the cat, I'm looking at that picture, I'm thinking about how do I get the correct angle more than anything. I need this to pop out more, so I'm going to put my finger up in there. Pop it out a little bit. There we go. Okay. And then this has to be more narrow. All right, so we're starting to get just the general form. You guys probably already know this, but I have some nice detailing tools. Again, I ask that if you borrow any of my detailing tools, I don't have a set for everybody. So please borrow them, definitely borrow them, and definitely put them back, okay? because that way the next student can have them in the next class. Some of these end up in people's toolkits and then I have to chase them down. All right, so I want to define those nostrils. Really important. Okay. And around the sides. Okay, and so some of you guys who have not started the mask yet, this is where you're going to be on day one. Really get in there. And some of you guys are going to go, but I've never done this before, Mr. Landro. You've done it before. You're better at it. And I was like, well, practice. Because I'll tell you one thing. They say that the high school age, teenage age is your most creative years. And I think you can learn the most probably in your high school years. These are things that they don't tell you. It's harder for old adults to learn things. You guys have a lot more ability to absorb new knowledge. Okay, so you get the basic idea. So then I would continue on. I would go into the eyes and all that kind of stuff. All right, so forming a mask is not so difficult and scary as you guys want to think. All right. If anybody gets into a mask or something and they want, like, first day, hey, Mr. Landro, I'm not sure how something looks. Can you help me? Have a reference image out on your table, and then, hey, Mr. Landro, come on over here, and then maybe I can help you if you need some help. Because sometimes, like I had a student last period, he wanted to do his mouth open, right? So we were talking about how to create the sculptural parts to create a mouth open. Other people want different things happening. You know, I had a student last period, she wanted to have an eye patch, and we're going to do certain things there. And so there's each student is going to have different things. And that's the fun part for me. That's what I like to do as a teacher, is help people if I can. That's it for today. You guys can get started. We're going to try to finish these masks this week and get them in the kiln. There's some more over here. You guys can look at those.